Hello, my name is Olong, and I'm going to commentate on my 5 mask solo clear of the Horrific Vision of Orgrimmar as a Beast Mastery Hunter. This is for my own learning purposes, as well as just to practice and try to do a voiceover and see how I like it. It's kind of just for fun. Also, perhaps if anyone ends up requesting some information about the run I posted, then perhaps I could share this video to help impart, share a little bit of knowledge that I gained doing this. However, I doubt I am far from the most knowledgeable or best person at doing this, but I think I got the basics down and hopefully perhaps could help someone out. So as you can see, I'm a Beast Mastery Hunter. I'll commentate on my character setup as I go through here. I think I kind of pull some stuff up. So right here, I'm just showing my essences. I think the one difference here, well, real quick, the major is rank 3 purification protocol. I just feel it's really good for doing AoE pulls, and then stunning aberrations is really helpful here. Also, I think it bonus damage against aberrations. It's really good. I think some people might be running focusing iris, or maybe some other things depending on what class or spec you're playing. You could have better options. This is the one that I have found the most success with, and that's what I'm rolling with. The two minor essences that I would probably definitely go with are rank 3, Breath of the Dying minor, and then it ends up doing a lot of damage. It's really good. Vision of Perfection, because I'm running a like pretty much the Beast Mastery cooldown reduction kind of build. So we use this bow from Skitra, or not everyone, but if this is your best character setup, if you're running this bow with the cooldown reduction that comes from the bow and the rest of your setup you got going on, it's like this crit build where you're pretty much using all your abilities all the time just to try to get them on cooldown, and then the bow starts reducing the cooldown with your auto shots. Vision of Perfection reduces the cooldown of Aspect of the Wild by a good bit, and you pretty much end up getting close to 1 minute Aspect of the Wild, so you get a lot of amount, which ends up being really good. However, I would say in these visions, um, you like majority, like more than half of the cooldown reductions from the bow end up going to utility as opposed to damage, whereas in an ideal scenario for DPS output, it would go 100% to damage. But as you start using utility spells, they'll start funneling into utility. In here, when you're doing these solo clears, you're going to be using a lot of utility, so a lot of the bow cooldown reduction ends up going to that. However, I think that's pretty worthful. That's got a lot of value to it, because how useful utility is in these scenarios. Like maybe, in a pure DPS perspective, you would rather it go to your barb shots or bestial wrath or something like that. However, in here, having your disengage cooldown reduced by 2 seconds might end up saving your ass. So I do think there's value to it. It just depends on what other corruptions you have available, and you can pick your own character setup. Um, the third minor I'm using is Focusing Iris, just for helping with the single target on the bosses. If you have rank 3 Conflict and Strife, I would probably say go with that. I'm pretty sure a lot of people run that, and that is a better setup. I haven't got rank 3 Conflict and Strife yet. That is on the to-do list. Um, if I had that, I'd probably run it in the third slot. Also, you can see here, I did get my rank 80 neck. However, I didn't activate the last stamina slot. So I noticed that after I uploaded the video. Thought that was funny. All right, let's see what else we got. I think that explains essences decently. Just looking at my Azerite armor setup real quick. I'm running 3 Dance of Death, 2 Primal Instinct, and 1 Rapid Reload. Kind of like a dungeon kind of setup. My corrupted gear, I have the Skitcher bow, and then I've got a rank 2. I think I have 1 rank 1 and 1 rank 2 severe, which is just crit chance increase. And I made sure my corruption stays below 0 here because I don't want to get slowed and get stuck in a sanity, something that's going to hit me for sanity damage, especially since we're with Mask of the Daredevil, and the whole combination of all the masks would make that just less than ideal. Got my cloak upgraded to 12, so I'm getting the agility proc from that now. Beast Mastery, just going full crit build. Crit food, agility flask. That's my talent setup. Just kind of standard uh, dungeon cleave AoE kind of build. There's all 5 masks. Making sure I got potions ready to go. And it looks like we're gonna crank it up. I start with my pet dismissed, so that way, typically I like to run before we start. So my planned path is I always like to start left and run by the forge. If the mob is present in the forge, I like to just pull everything into him and AoE and cleave it down, so that way I can get the damage bonus from the forge guy. Um, However, also this week, one of the two, I'm not sure what to call them, affixes or debuffs in the zones in the starting zone is the time synchronization thing, where you either get slowed or get sped up. And I've gotten to the point now where if I start off with the slow debuff, I just go ahead and start pulling stuff around me at the entrance, including the 2 guards in front of Thrall, because running through the forge guy is really slow. If you're slowed like that, if I have the speed debuff, I'll usually just shoot on straight by and go up to the next area. However, when I'm slowed, running that, I don't know. I'm not sure if it's more efficient to one way or the other, but also in pulling stuff at the beginning, there is an elite once you get up the ramp and go to the left to start heading towards that lost zone back there. And so letting my sanity drain halfway down before I kill that guy is worthwhile, because if I kill him when I still have a mostly full sanity bar, then I'm going to be not using the full value of the sanity restoration from killing that elite. So I think pulling the guards right off the bat is good, so that way you get more value out of killing the elite once you get up there. Anyway, so that's my planned path. I start pets dismissed and spam with my mount button. I'm going to start heading towards the left. Here comes the slow. So I decide, all right, I'm going to pull stuff, get my pet out. Yeah, I got to interrupt on the shaman. He ends up hanging back there anyway. Cheat up, pull everything. Going to slap down a purification protocol. Shaman's out there. I'm not worried about him killing me, though. I'm just going to try to get this stuff out. Unfortunate misplay. I pulled the 2 honor guards out of purification protocol, so that kind of blows. But got a lucky gift of the Titans proc, so no big deal. Knock off these guys, kill the shaman real quick. I'm going to head over towards Forge Master. Go ahead and misdirect pet, pull the 2 packs, LOS them into the blacksmith, the anvil air building. All right. LS into the corner. It's just all you're doing is AoEing this down. Not a whole lot to be said about it. You got to watch out. The shamans will put down like gripping totems, that endless hunger totem. You got to be, sometimes that can be dangerous. Can pull you into your burn bridge sanity draining pools. So careful about that. I usually don't have too much trouble with it, so I don't really worry about it too much. Misdirect pet, pull these guys, run over and slap the elite. I like doing it kind of with this timing, just in case I can snag a Gift of the Titans proc off of these little void guys. Didn't happen here. Slap down purification. It's just going to kill this guy. This guy's 2 main things is this decimator cast that'll hit you for some sanity damage, and then this other thing, surging fist, is like the charge. It's kind of the only things I think you got to worry about is just dodging those. There's decimator. Man, look at that Gift of the Titans proc. Talk about some value. That's fucking value town all day. All right, this zone, one of the fixes we get is fucking leaden foot. Pardon me, I'm probably gonna curse a bit. Leaden foot, I do not enjoy leaden foot, especially because playing Beast Mastery Hunter, I'm used to just running around and moving all the time while I'm in combat, and so it's like against my nature to just stand still and only move when I need to. So this pull is pretty conservative. I think at this point, I'm playing it pretty safe. I'm not doing this run to try to get every mob killed and get all the corrupted mementos I can. This is just my first 5 mass clear that I wanted to do. So I'm also letting my sanity go down a little bit. Now I'm going to go up here and pull this whole area with the Hulk and slap down a purification protocol. Unluckily, though, I should have misdirected my pet and multi-shotted the pack in the back to get him pulled up here because they aggroed onto is it Garona? I'm not sure who it is. They aggroed onto the Orc Lady, which was less than ideal. Um, I get thrown here into a tight spot, so I turtle to try to not get, take damage from stupid shit. But basically, the focus there is getting the Hulk down because his throw does sanity damage, and as far as I know, it's not avoidable. So the Hulk is my top focus. Everything else I just let get down by Purification Protocol, and then I try to get the Hulk down and then go full cleave. I keep Beast Cleave up and do passive cleave kind of stuff up until the Hulk is down, and then I'll go, full AoE. All right, that's that. Down here, make sure to focus the Dominators. If they get I think it's the Touch of the Abyss cast on you, it stuns and does. I'm not sure if it also does sanity damage or if it just stuns. It might do both. But anyway, focus them down. That guy is not too problematic. You just got to dodge his, AoE swirl thing. The two things I'm using to control Dominators are just counter shot and intimidation. There's never more than two of them, and usually you can kill one of them quick enough so that it won't cast, and then the other one you can use one of those two abilities to make sure it doesn't get a Touch of the Abyss cast off. This pack, I'm going to use Purification Protocol. I don't know of much to talk about here, other than the obvious, avoid the swirls. Okay, this Bob, all you need to do is avoid his blood casts, and pretty much every time you see him start casting, just start moving to the left. While he's not casting, though, you got to stand still to drop your leaded foot stacks. If you're doing a 5 mass clear, I'm sure you already know most of this stuff. So just another lucky gift of the Titans proc, getting full value out of it. We made use of the gift of the Titans. I made use of the gift of the Titans haste to open that chest real quick. So that's big wrinkle, big IQ play. I lust on this guy, this mob. I used to not like. At this point, though, I feel like I've got it under control pretty well. I think I also got kind of lucky with some of the placements of his casts and stuff. But basically, I'm going to go back real quick. The first thing is going to cast is a Defile Ground, which is going to be just a big line of stuff thrown right at you. Just as soon as he starts casting, sidestep. His next cast is going to be Swirls on the Ground. Once he starts casting this, I move under him for Ring of Chaos, so that way I'm inside the rings, or inside the ring of these Void Orbs. AoE his buddies down, another Defile Ground, move out of it. At this point, he's mostly dead. I kill him before he gets any other casts off. If I didn't lust here and he were to start casting more things at that point, there's a lot of void pools and stuff on the ground. Might be difficult to deal with. So that's just how I dealt with that. Ended up being pretty clean. There was a combat with something, just feigned to drop it. So now we're going to go into the, what's it called? It's not a lost area. I can't remember the name of the less corrupted areas, but the Valley of Spirits. These mobs, the only thing I know is that if you pull both Crazed Tormentors, and they're both getting off Mental Assault casts, it can end up doing a lot of damage. I'm planning on using an orb before this next boss, so I'm kind of, again, playing conservatively. In future clears, I will probably maybe try to rush this and pull this pack with the guys that patrol on the bridge and throw down like Purification Protocol or something to save an orb and maybe try to get this upcoming boss before an orb. Here, I thought I clicked the other totem earlier, and I just noticed that I didn't. And then I went to disengage over towards it and disengaged off the bridge. Then I get the Mask of the Insane. I can't remember the name of the mask. I get that mob, and then I get catapulted away, and I just like come up the tree trunk. Anyway, so I get the totems. That went a little less than ideal. But this next pack, I'm going to pull the pack on the bridge and the pack at the next totem and throw down Purification Protocol just to clean them up real quick. And then I'm going to kill the pack up on the right before going to the boss to use an orb. I think I might get another Gift of the Titans proc here, and that's why I was trying to decide at this point when I should orb, but I think I go ahead and go for the next pack. Yeah. Another Crazed Tormentor. The last pack there is a Shaman. That's kind of like the priority target. I usually don't have trouble from the Shaman, so this pack. I also don't think there's much to worry about unless you're doing this pack with the other totem pack. In that case, you probably want to focus either the shaman or the tormentor, um, and interrupt the other one, whichever one you're not focusing. I'm gonna go ahead and run around the boss and feign death back here so I can orb. I probably could have orbed out in front of those two mobs and pulled them and then pulled the boss, just because killing the boss I would have got the sanity value back anyway. Um, but this is the way we played it. This guy just dodge the waves, pick up your sanity or light orb whenever he casts hopelessness on you. It's pretty quick and easy. Yep, that's quick as crap. All right, now we're headed over to the other side, the Garona area, I think. If I get sped up here, I dismiss my pet and I run to the next wall and feign, to the next door and feign. But since I'm slowed, I just go ahead and pull this stuff. I'm about to kill an elite anyway, so I'll get the sanity back that it takes for the time to kill these mobs. So it's another case where it's like, yeah, I could run over there and feign death and skip this, but there's an elite that I'm going to kill right there. So I might as well, let the sanity drain down, get some corrupted mementos, and then when I kill the elite, I'll get the sanity back. Uh, However, I'm kind of like going half in and not all in on that, because at some points I play conservatively and other times I'm like, yeah, I could do this real quick for corrupted mementos. In future clears, I'll just be going for full corrupted mementos probably. But for this one, it was more of for the most part, I was trying to make conservative plays just for the sake of getting a completed 5 mass clear. This guy I use cooldowns on a good bit. I do not pull him with this crowd. I have gotten screwed over, even with Purification Protocol, full cooldowns, pulling this pack with that elite. So I just do them separately. Maybe at some point in the future, I'll go back and try to work out how to appropriately prioritize the targets so that that pull works. But for now, this works for me. There's not really a good point for me to not do this, since I'm mostly full sanity, and the elite's going to, again, restore some of the sanity. I probably could have saved Purification Protocol for this guy, but I was coming into him with pretty much full cooldowns, personal cooldowns. So I felt, like I wouldn't necessarily need it for him. However, normally it is good to try to save some stuff and burst this guy down as much as possible, because his orb casts and the beam do some sanity drain, and sometimes you can get caught in some tight spots. Here, just focus the Dominator. I'm going to pull this with the next pack down there. I got to make sure to stun or interrupt the Dominator so it doesn't get a Touch of the Abyss cast on you. Other than that, I don't think the pack is too dangerous. I got a little greedy here and tried to start opening that door before I'd killed everything, and did not necessarily pay off. So Gift to the Titans proc. I want to pull this guy with the next pack, but Garona, I guess, hasn't done her RP, so I wasn't able to open the door to get the guy to come out. Go ahead and throw down Purification. It's only a minute cooldown, so I figured it'd be up for the next boss. Yeah, ideally, I would like to pull that guy with that pack, but I think I need to queue or do something different to get Garona's RP to go, so that I can pull him with him. Here's another case where I try to get greedy and open this door, and the catapult, I move away for catapult and then put void zones under the door like a genius from Burn Bridge. Open these two things, get the boss started. Okay, on this boss, the two main things are move behind the tree trunk to LOS I can't think of the name of the cast. but she'll shoot missiles at you, and you just LOS them behind the tree. You could still cast at her, which I think is hilarious. Here it is, Void Torrent. Move behind the tree, just LOS these stuff. Right here, bad, unlucky timing on this because I get a Figment and I put damage on him, and then I don't end up having enough damage on the boss to cancel the Cries of the Void cast. Typically, when they start casting Cries of the Void, you need to do as much DPS into that shield as possible in that period of time to break it, because it does do sanity damage. It's less than ideal to get hit by that. Another Void Torrent, boss dead. So typically, sometimes I would even, forego your normal rotation just to get as much damage per cast off into the lady to make sure her shield gets broken. So that way you don't take your sanity damage. I don't really know of anything about Misha that is that dangerous. I've never had a problem with Misha. She always does spawn these scarabs after you kill her, though. You just cleave them down. Assuming if you don't cleave them down fast enough, you gotta make sure to dodge their poison puddles that they're spawning out. Normally, again, you could try to just run all the way up to the boss. Well, actually, no, excuse me. With Lead and Foot, and also, you either here usually have Lead and Foot, or you have the debuff where you get surrounded by a circle of yourself. So starting the run from here to get up to the boss and feign death, I feel like is too risky. Plus, there's no reason for me to not. I've got 2 orbs left. I haven't died yet, so I'm just gonna kill stuff for mementos. Both Lead and Foot, maybe from here you could try to run up and do a feign death skip, but for me, I also got a gift to the Titan's proc, so I'm not gonna not use my gift to the Titan's proc to kill stuff. But yeah, maybe from here you could start your run up to the boss to do feign death skip to get around this stuff. I'm just gonna go ahead and kill it because the elite will give me sanity restoration. I'm not really worried about getting killed or getting sanity drained by this guy. I think at one point I do take sanity damage, but it's from the mob spawning from this mob. I think I stand in one of his swirl smash casts, like right here, because I was slow. I'm not sure. I wasn't slowed by Lead and Foot. I'm not sure what I was being slowed by at the time. Maybe it was those poison pools or splashes or something. These guys, sometimes I like killing this right before the boss to try to get a gift of the Titan's proc. I'll go ahead and use my cooldowns on these guys because I'll probably have them most of the way up back before the boss. Or actually, if not, I think my thought process here was I can just wait for them to come back up while my sanity ticks down before I use an orb. So I just went ahead and popped cooldowns. But that wouldn't have made much sense, though, if I got a gift of the Titan's proc and wanted to pull the boss. So, got to think about that. Kind of smooth brain play right there. Here I decided I'm going to go back and get the other chest from the start of the zone, since I have time before using my orb, before I need to use the orb. However, as I'm going this way, I get the mob spawn from low sanity. I need to look up the name of that mask, because I keep trying to refer to it and just saying that I don't know it. Where is it? Yeah, right here I was looking at this because I almost thought I didn't use all the masks because I was surprised that I was actually able to do. I was doing, better than I had anticipated. So Mask of the Dark Imagination. Okay, so the mob that spawns from Mask of the Dark Imagination is what I have been intending to refer to. This guy. So I kill him, get a gift to the Titans, and I'm like, oh man, I want to go right now. And then I think I end up actually doing okay on this pull. Later on, I try to do a gift to the Titans pull after speedy after a proc, and it ends up not being a great decision. But anyway, so I got lucky to get a gift to the Titans proc. Okay, I'm not even talking about the fight. Okay, so going in here, the key thing for me is to throw a freezing trap down to crowd control one of the boars. The boars in this fight are what'll get you. If they get off their Void Quills casts, they'll do sanity damage. So basically try to crowd control one. Luckily with the trap, I get to place a crowd control before the mob's activated. So I am really lucky in that regard. Your class, um, you may need to be paying attention, and then if you have an instant cast crowd control when they're activated, that might be ideal. Otherwise, you might need to focus them down because by the time you get a cast off on them, they might be moved to the center of the room. I'm not certain. I don't really pay attention to when I crowd control. I just throw a trap in front of it because, Hunter is big brain IQ plays. Um, so yeah, crowd control a boar. The ones that do come in, focus them down and interrupt or stun them on their casts. I always save my purification protocol for when he calls in the first two boars. That's the reason I trap one of the ones in the center because it won't be one of the first spawns. For purification protocol, I get more value if I get two boars out there. So that's what the plan is. And here I make a really high IQ play after I kill these boars. So I int him the first one, interrupt the second one, and then I walk into a trap. Yep. I'm gonna say that I was intentionally clearing that trap for later in the fight when I need to dodge the Shahs. So, it was completely a planned play. Just dodge the little stampede of Shahs, and there you go. And now we're all done. We are ready to pull Thrall. Going into Thrall, the big things are just going to be dodge the shit and again, you got to try to break the shield for Cries of the Void cast before it goes off to interrupt it so you don't take sanity damage. Here I was just checking out and seeing how much Purifying Blast actually helped. I think it does end up helping a good bit on those first two boars. I decide I've got an orb left, so I'm going to kill a little extra trash before Thrall. Just for funsies. My pet did not decide to travel with me in the totem, so I summon him out. I'm also like on the fence about if I'm going to use a cooldown or not on this pack, and then I end up using a cooldown. And then I get a Gift of the Titans proc, so I'm like, oh, I want to go pull Thrall. Well, I got a Gift of the Titans because I'm all feeling rushed and excited. So I end up going into Thrall with Bestial Wrath still on a minute on cooldown, and it's like I didn't even get it in time for a Gift of the Titans. So it was just less than ideal. And at this point, I'm like, oh man, I gotta go. So I end up completely kind of messing up my pull here. I try to look at the boars to get their Void Quill casts taken care of, and then take a huge slam to the face from Thrall. So less than ideal start here. However, we're still above half sanity. We're good. Here I try to move back into the circle to get the damage buff, but I probably could have waited for him to cast that before moving over there. Here you can see I'm getting the mob for the mask again at the same time as the Cries of the Void cast. I'm just going to turtle it to not take sanity damage. And I think at this point I hardly even move from this spot the rest of the fight. Yeah, from right here. Other than to get this orb. And it's just been straight up dodge and stuff. And there we go. I didn't even proc the cheat death Titanic research talent. I was pretty happy about that. I am choosing. Initially, some of my thought on that was maybe I should never cast an orb until I have used my cheat death proc in order to maximize the value out of it. However, that is way too risky. I don't think it's practical at all to do that. So just try to play without using it, and then if you end up using it, it'll just save your butt for your whenever you make a mistake on some of the more dangerous pulls. And that was it. That was 5 bass clear. So thanks for watching. Hope maybe I helped, or at least think I have entertained myself and I have enjoyed this exercise of trying this out. So I will most likely try to iterate on it and improve and make a better version going forward. But cool. Thanks, y'all. If you have any questions about anything in the video, drop me a comment and I will try to respond. Thanks very much.